This special session. I'm very pleased to welcome with us and at the World Economic Forum Asad Hassan al-Sheibani, who is the Foreign Minister of Syria. And Asad, it's a pleasure to be with you here today. Now, we're going to do this a little bit in English and partly in Arabic, just so that all the answers are the ones that Asad was comfortable giving. So I know you can get out the translation packs. I hope it's all working well. It's WEF. It usually does work pretty competently. And I'm going to start with something very simple and obvious in a way, which is, it's, I think, 50 days. You probably never expected to be in power so quickly. You probably never expected to be here in Davos, for sure. How is it?
It's amazing.
I mean, not Davos, I mean, but...
Syria, it's amazing.
Tell us a bit about how you see things today and your ambition for Syria.
Okay. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, and also I thank this forum to give us other Syrian people to represent our people here in this place. Of course, I can say to all the world that Syria now is free, and the Syrian people are free also, and Syria backs again to their people. Of course, Syria now has a lot of expectation and a lot of dreams and ambitions. As a Syrian people, we were exposed to a systematic war at the hand of the Assad regime, and finally we get our freedom. It was very hard. It's not easy to be in this place, and my place now is my position now in this place, depending on 15 million of Syrian people were being killed at the hand of Assad regime, and also 15 million people were displaced in and abroad of Syria, and also 1 million has been killed at the hand of Assad regime, and also as you see the torture and pictures and what happened in Sednaya and other prisoners from the Assad regime. The cost is very high. But we did it finally, and we will not look at the past, but we will look at the future, and we give promise for our people that this misery will not be repeated again.
Yeah, well, that's a very strong statement. And the security situation at the present time in Syria, how is it?
This is not working. Yes. Yes, what I can say that the security conditions now in Syria is acceptable. We are talking about 14 years of war and 14 years of chaos, and of course the situation there is now, if you see that the delegations and the European countries and the Gulf countries and the Arab countries, all of them in Syria now, and we have in Syria now many Davos in Damascus. Syria now is open for all the world, and all the world feel safety and security in that place.
And you've obviously got a lot of different minorities in Syria, Christians, Druze, Alawites. And how confident are you that this will be a Syria for all the people, given the history and the difficulties of the past?
I can say that now, as we Syrian people, we are victims of the sectarian government, and we are also victims of this language, and we refuse to use it for the future of Syria. We are not Syrian people, not divided into minorities. We are Syrian people, and Syria should be for all the Syrian people without any sectarian dividing, and also without to punish someone regarding on his background, social background, religious background, or sectarian groups. Syria will be for all the Syrian people, and from this perspective, we put our vision, and if we want to be successful in the future, of course, we need to share all our people in creating this future.
Obviously, half of the population are women as well. How do you see the place of women in the future of Syria?
Yes, the women in Syria are respected, and they should take their role and active role in our and they are very main party in our creating a new country. And of course, the Syrian women are they are empowered, and also they exposed also to and they suffered also during these 14 years, and they should be a part of the future of Syria, and we guarantee their role, and we will for my position and also for my as a Syrian government, we should give them their rights and give them their rule without any making any pressure on them, and it is many part of our full picture of.
I mean, you can envisage time when obviously there are Syrian women ministers, Syrians in positions of power.
Of course, they should be.
And you have actually, there's a woman who's the Syrian.
Yes, we have the governor of Central Bank is a woman, Miss Maisa.
Right.
And we gave her the money, and this is the main, yes. And this is the main important thing in Syria. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, you've expressed very clearly it should be one Syria, that minorities should be respected. We discussed the role of women. In respect of the economy, how do you see that developing, and how do you? What's going to be the openness of the new Syrian government to investment from abroad?
Yes. Syria now, as you know, and maybe I should make a summarization of the situation of Syria. We inherited a collapsed state from the Assad regime, and also there is no economic system there. There is a lot of challenges that we faced now in Syria, but Syria regarding these challenges, but I can say that we have a big opportunity and big opportunity of investment. Syria resources of economy are diverse, and we have a lot of sectors of industry and tourism, and also we have the human resources in Syria. They are very important, and also the location of Syria is very important. And from the first day, we make connection with our state in our region, depending on our development vision that we make it from the first day. The future of Syria, it will be depending on this vision, and of course the economy in the future will be open, and we will open the road for the foreign investment in Syria, and also we need to make big partnership with the neighborhood and also with the world, and also this is the main actor and the main key to open the road for the new future of New Syria.
I mean, one important aspect of Syria's development will obviously be its education system. You know, there have been concerns that maybe the education will be too narrow, that yes, it's important to have a good curriculum, a broad yes, education for the children. Tell us a bit about the plans yes, for that.
Also, we focused on the 5 sectors in Syria. We focused on the energy, telecom, roads and airports, and education and health. This is our main sectors that we are focusing on them, because if we succeed in these 5 sectors, the basic services for our Syrian people will be perceived and provided in the right way. Of course, education is the Syrian people, they are well educated, and Syrian people like the education, and from the first week when we entered Damascus, we opened the school and the university to let the students to go back to their schools and university soon. and our power and our energy depending on these well-educated people. And of course, we will open the road for education, and we want also to depend on the technologies and to the final education and curriculum that happened in the world. As you know, that Syria is far of the what happened in the world for 14 years, and our job that we need to provide our students and our children the professional curriculum, and also to invest in this sector, because this sector will shape the future of Syria.
I mean, you're going to have enormous challenges. I mean, building a healthcare system from nothing really, which will exist at the moment. You've got the renewal of your infrastructure. How will you prioritize that?
Yeah. Regarding this issue, we make a committee of expertise that they are studying and making experiment on the fields. If I said that what are priorities in Syria, maybe we have 100 priorities, but we should focus and we should divide our problems. And also we say that we have challenges, we don't have problems, because we have the hope, and we need to open the road. We don't want to turn Syria into a place that need the support and the humanitarian issue. This is important, but we need also to build our country very soon, and we focus on the energy sector, because it's very important. The electricity in Syria doesn't work very well, and for this issue we make now some partnership with the with the Gulf country regarding this issue, and also we will depend and we will have workshops from expertise with the interaction with the international community and with the expertise from abroad to help us in this mission.
I mean, presumably within the Syrian system, there's a huge problem with the capacity of the system, because you've got to deal with the Syrian people that are there, but you're going to have a large number of people returning who are refugees.
Yeah. This issue, it was a misery issue in the past. But now we find that we can transfer it into something very good for the Syrian people. Now we have refugees around all the world. They now turned into expertise, and they have the knowledge, and also they have diverse knowledge from different countries. And we are also focusing now on welcoming them in Syria soon, because we need this added value to be helpful in the future of Syria.
And are you finding people are coming back?
Yeah.
That's happening?
Thousands of people now are coming back to Syria, because Syria is the Syrian people, they like their country, even though they live in European country or in different areas of the world. But the Syrian people, they like their country, and now we meet them in Damascus, and we saw that they need to help us, and they need to make Syria a good region, and also to be a competent country in the world. And the Syrian people deserve to live in these conditions.
I mean, we'll come on to some of the problems in the neighborhood and with sanctions and so on. We'll deal with that in a moment. But just looking at the government as it is now, I mean, 50 days in.
Yes.
What's the biggest challenge? What are the thing that you're most concerned about?
The big challenge, depending on these 50 days, is the economic sanctions. Now we inherited a lot of problems from the Assad regime, but also we inherited these sanctions, and we should remove it and lift it from the should soon, because now it was in the past put for the Syrian people, but now it's against the Syrian people. If you have a development vision.
You mean it was put in order to help the Syrian people in their struggle against the previous regime, but now it's a
against
penalty on them.
Yes, yeah. It's like removing the economic sanction is the key for stability of Syria.
And how are you going to approach how you persuade people to lift those sanctions?
Of course, Syria is a very important country, and we see that all the world are interested in Syria, and all the world needs Syria to be safe and stable and to live in peace. And to help the Syrian people to live under these conditions, you should help the Syrian people and remove these sanctions. Syria will be not a threat for any country in the world, and we will change the old perception that Assad regime put it on our image that Syria is exporter of the Captagon, Syria is exporter of the refugee, Syria is exporting of the threats. Now Syria is without threats. Syria will not making any threat against any region in the region and in the world. And also Syria now it's open new page for all the world, and we need Syria to be a country of peace.
And you believe that you can establish that process of peace with your near neighbors?
Of course, we should make this. If we need to Syria to be successful, we need to spread the peace in the regions.
And I mean, it's you've got a period now of 18 months, effectively up to June 2026. I mean, ideally, where would you want to be in 18 months' time when you get to that point of having then the new government coming to the people?
I don't got the answer.
Well, so in June 2026, that's the date that's been set for how you then get to the point where you can go to the people and ask for their consent. Where would you ideally like to be in those 18 months? What would you like to achieve over that period?
Of course, we have a lot of challenges, as I said, that we have the political challenges, economic challenges, humanitarian challenges, and also the how to rebuild Syria, its relation with the all of region. What we need in this period, we need to convince the Syrian people inside and outside they are finding finally the right government that serve their interest, and also that they represent them in honor way, and also they feel safe in their country.
And that will mean then, you need to have the political progress, the security progress, and also the economic progress. What are the sanctions that are most important to be lifted most quickly?
All the sanctions. Because we can't divide it, because now we are, if the sanctions, now if you want to understand it, I said it many of times, we heard from the international community a lot of should, you should do this and you should do this. And maybe it's like an example, if you tie the hands of someone and throw him in the river and ask him to swim and bring fish with him. And how we bring a good future for the Syrian people, and Syria now is tackled by these sanctions. And what we've heard from the Gulf country and also from the EU and other countries, they want to help the Syrian people, but they can't with these sanctions. And the reason of these sanctions now, he's in Moscow. And if they want to punish him, he's in Moscow now, Bashar al-Assad. And the Syrian people shouldn't be punished. Now, these sanctions put on Syria because of the victims. And the victims now in the government.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I think the thing is that, people look at the past decade and, obviously, there's been a huge amount of violence. Most people, you didn't expect to remove Bashar al-Assad so quickly. You did it, and the group was founded from one particular perspective, ideology, and so on. And so I guess people ask,
yes,
has it changed? Is the character of the government going to be what you've just been describing to us, which is open, treating people equally? And so it's the character of the government that I think is what people ask. And so you're absolutely right, of course, the country can't progress unless the sanctions are lifted. But I suppose in a way it's a question of how you also persuade people that when they lift the sanctions, that's going to be helping promote a country with the values that people believe are the right ones for the future.
Of course, we are Syrian, and we all the time we put our lives to serve Syria and to bring the freedom of Syria. Syrian people all the time was waiting the international community intervenence, and they waited for this political process, and they waited for the humanitarian process, and they went to international committee to say their words and to stop the massacres, and also to stop the Assad regime from killing people and bombing airstrike and using chemical weapons. Nothing was happened, and finally, those people who you are talking about them now, they bring the freedom for the Syrian people, and the Syrian people now are behind us, and they trust us. And also what happened in the last 50 days, it's a big evidence that the new future of Syria will be better from the past.
I mean, you're obviously going to, because there are some very deep wounds in society as a result of what has happened. I mean, you're going to get a certain number of people that will be doing things that are revenge on people who have treated them badly. How are you going to handle that?
Now, the big messages that we send it to all the world, now there is no million of Syrian people now at the borders. There is no million of refugees Syrian now in the sea. There is no millions of people now, they are seeking refuge because of what happened in the Syria. All the Syrian people supported the change. And also the big message that we say to all the world, that all the Syrian people with their diversity now in their houses, and they feel safe, and they go back to their work
right,
very
and
fast.
If there are violations of that, if people start sectarian attacks, you will intervene to stop that?
Yes, the big achievement that we are very proud of it, Syria didn't enter in civil war, and Syria didn't enter in sectarian war. And Syria...
You mean in this last period, yeah?
What happened in Syria in 12 days, it's very successful. Now, if you want to make this big change, if you to make, for example, another example from other parts of the world, you will see destroyed cities, you will see millions of refugees, you will see massacres on the TV all the time. But what we have seen in the Syria, celebration in Damascus, and big delegations of the different countries, all the world now in Syria. And this is a big message and a big evidence that what happened in Syria, it's very convincing for the people. And if we see some example and some exceptions, it's not the mainstream and not the main policy of the government, Syrian government. And we deal with these issues directly. And we will not accept anybody to take revenge by his hand. There is transnational justice, and there is accountability, and this is the responsibility of the government, not from the people.
And your idea is to have a rule of law that treats all the citizens equally?
Of course, the rule of law, it will be the main actor of the new government. In Syria, all the time they ask us about how to guarantee the rights of that group and how to guarantee the rights of the women. No, in Syria will be all of us will be under the constitution and under the rule of law. And new Syria, it will be ruled by the law, not ruled by the just group or just by the mentality ideas or by ideological issue. No, it will be the new. As I said in the earlier, that the misery of Syria will not be repeated. And this is push us to Syria to be ruled by the law, not by the persons.
Yeah, well, that's actually a very important statement. And in drawing up the constitution, you will involve all the different elements of society.
Yes, of course. The constitution, it will be after the national conference. The constitution, it will be a constitution committee. It will be consisted of expertise, and this is the mission of expertise and non-expertise, and will announce their names, and it consists of the different groups of the Syria and all the.
So that group of experts will represent a diverse Syria?
Men and women, yes.
Okay. And I know you went recently to the Gulf states and did a tour there. How did you find that? Were they were supportive of your changes?
Which state?
The Gulf states. You went to Saudi, didn't you? And
yes.
UAE,
Gulf,
I think, and of course Qatar.
Yes, we chose to visit the Gulf countries because we want to fix the relation between Syria and those countries, because Assad regime make a lot of problems with them. They exported Captagon all the time for them, and they use harsh language against them. And the Gulf countries are very important in the region, and Syria also is it should take its active role in the region. And from the first day, we make visits for these regions and these countries, because we believe that they should help us in the future of Syria, and they should Syria to be back for them after the long period of loneliness.
I mean, if you're going to, I mean, Syria's got some fantastic cultural and assets and potential for tourism. Will you develop all of that? When you look, for example, at the Gulf countries and you see what Saudi Arabia is doing in developing its cultural assets, UAE and Doha.
If you ask me about from where you will inspire your new Syria, yes,
right.
I will say that we have Singapore. We also have the vision of 2030 of Saudi Arabia, and also we have very brilliant experience in Geneva. And also we will depend on all these inspiring examples in the world. We need Syria to be a place of peace, to be a place of development, and to be a place which we get rid of the war and go to the main rating of the creative and development. Yes.
Yeah, it's a kind of Syria first.
Syria first, yes.
Right, and so you.
Mr. Trump took this logo from us. Syria first, of course, for the Syrian people, it's first and last.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to ask you to kind of give a message to the international community, but you kind of done it in a way, and I think the examples you give of the countries from which you will draw inspiration, I think is interesting. And you know, that one of the toughest things about government, of course, is that the expectations of the people are always very, very high.
Very high, yes.
And the business of government is very hard and very slow.
Yes.
How are you going to keep people with you? I mean, I'm sort of thinking of this period up to the June 2026 when you'll have that's when the new constitution is promulgated. How will you keep people with you in this process of change? Because as
I said, that Syria it's a very important country in the region, and there are shared common interests between us and between the region, between the countries in the region and in the world. Syria, we have common interest in the security level and on the political level, and also on the economy level. And if the world wants Syria to go out of this misery or to make something positive for the Syrian people after they left the Syrian people alone after all these long years, they should make something for the Syrian people. And we are open. And also we need the help of the international community to help us in our new experiment. Of course, we know that we have high expectations, but also we are ambitious people, and we have dreams, and we need a very high level for our Syrian people life.
Well, Asad, it's been really interesting to to talk with you.
Yes, thank
we were going to do it partly in English and partly in Arabic, but
Thank you.
You've made the translators redundant.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that. And thank you also for the strength of the message. And, you know, I would pay tribute as well to the bravery of the Syrian people in how they've come through the past and can now look for a brighter future. And
yes.
if the character of the government is as you've explained it to us today, then I hope and believe that there should be a ready response to be your partners in this journey on the part of the international community.
In the next year, we will talk about the achievement of this year in Davos.
That's a date. We will do that.
Yes.
Again, at Davos 2026.
Yes. We hope so.
Mr. Foreign Minister Asad, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.